Where's the bell?
Oh, sorry. I always forget the bell.
Is there a book today?
No, no book today.
Seriously? Susie, this seems like the important day to have a book. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ryan Veenstra has the invocation.
Gracious God, we gather in fellowship today. We pause to give thanks for the gift of freedom and the blessings of our beautiful country. May we as Rotarians carry that spirit of service and dedication into our work and our communities. Help us to use our freedom wisely, to lift others, to foster peace, and to promote goodwill in all that we do. Bless this meeting, the food that we are sharing, and the hearts and hands of those present as we continue to use the principles of the four-way test to shape our words, our actions, and our decisions. In your name we pray, amen.
And join me in the four-way test. That's not on the wall. So let's see how good you guys are. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Oh, hey, well, I hope everybody had a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. I know my nephew took a sparkler to the cheek, so that's been fun. That was a good learning lesson for him, I think. So the one announcement I have here is that after this meeting today, there's going to be a membership committee meeting. We'll work on it over the next couple of weeks, but remember, as we go into this year, we're asking that everybody be on a committee in some form. So that'll more will be coming out on that, but that's kind of start thinking about where you can be of help on a committee. Are there any other announcements from the floor? Well, with that, I'll throw things over to Braden for fellowship.
Thank you for the very mild applause. Birthdays this week. Jennifer Graff was on July 1st, and that's it for birthdays. Anniversaries, Mike Rostrelli was 36 years, also on July 1st. And Jill O'Neill is 7 years, and that was on July 2nd. All right, so the 4th of July was recently, as we all know, so I've got some Declaration of Independence trivia. I'll start with Carrie's table in the back. Yes.
Do you have any guesses?
Let's
do that first.
If we have guests, I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I've got one. Phoebe Shield. Phoebe from Georgetown, Texas, married to my stepbrother, Barry Myrick. She's a former Rotarian. And
Mark has a guest.
I guess is my granddaughter, Loving Jones.
Are there any other guests?
Our district, our assistant governor, Wayne Steen is with us today.
Anybody else? Going once, twice, Sold. All right, getting back to trivia, Carrie's table in the back. The Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776. Whose signature was needed that day to authenticate the document? No multiple choice. The answer is John Hancock, because he was the president of the Continental Congress, and that's probably why his signature was so big and ornate on the document. We'll go Gary Foster's table. Historians now believe that most delegates did not sign the Declaration on July 4th, 1776. On what date do historians believe most delegates signed the document instead? If you want a hint, it was within a month.
14.
Nope. The answer is August 2nd. We'll go my table with Dennis and Wes and Jim. How many future presidents of the United States signed the Declaration of Independence? And who were they? Incorrect. The answer was 2, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Front table here.
What?
Who was the oldest person to sign the Declaration, and how old was he? I'll give you credit for it if you get either of those right.
We do.
The answer is Benjamin Franklin, and he was 7. Andy Green's table. This one's probably a little harder. Who was the youngest person to sign the Declaration, and how old was he? No guess?
No guess.
The answer is Edward Rutledge, and he was 20 from South Carolina. So yeah, I would guess most, if not all of us here are older than 26. So somebody who was 26 signed the Declaration. Just for the room, redemption, because I have more questions. How many people signed the Declaration? 56 is correct. And I heard some discussion of this, but why didn't George Washington sign the Declaration? Yep. He was defending New York against the British. Thanks, everybody.
I read a whole book about the year 1776, and I lent it to a Rotarian in Spencer, and he never gave it back before I moved. So I still don't even have that. But speaking of reading books, we have a great program today. I shouldn't introduce it as great. That puts too much pressure on them, right? Well, I'm going to bring Susie up here, and then Susie will introduce Jeanette.
My $5 in first. Me again. It seems like library. So we'll finish off the library tour with the Clinton County Association of Public Libraries. And I am going to share our presentation. And we'll see how that goes. And we have some background music, so if you want to do a little dancing, that's allowed. All right, so I will let Jeanette introduce herself. She is the director of the DeWitt Community Library.
Thank you for having me today. Along with being the director at the DeWitt Community Library, I also am the current president of the Clinton County Association for Public Libraries. Along with, I am the American Library Association chapter counselor for the state of Iowa. So I kind of do all of those things right now.
And you're on the ILA board.
Yes, and I'm also on the Iowa Library Association Executive Board.
Awesome. All right, so we'll start our presentation about the Clinton County Association of Public Libraries. We are actually a nonprofit corporation. And what our duties are basically to facilitate and improve services, represent the different libraries in Clinton County, and promote all of the different resources and programs that we offer. So I actually was gonna look up when this started, but it's been a long time. So when I moved to California, I had to learn that it is Iowa law to pay for library service. In California, it is not law that each city pay for library service. And so our group basically meets quarterly. So we do have a president, and I'm the treasurer. And we also have a secretary, and we do meet sometimes more than is quarterly. So this last legislative session, we met and talked about different challenges that we were facing if certain legislation were to be enacted. So that really helped us kind of figure out like our plans and what we wanted to do moving forward as the association. So the 6 libraries are Calamus, Comanche, Clinton, Curtis Memorial, which is Wheatland, DeWitt Community, and Lost Nation Public Library. And they're represented by 6 library directors. So the 6 library directors try to meet at least quarterly and discuss different initiatives and how we will spend different funding that we have. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have funds. It is Iowa law that cities that do not have a library contract with a library. So these are the 5 cities that contract with the Clinton County Association, and they give us over $17,000 for materials, services, programs, and different things that we'll talk about later. But there are 2 cities, actually 3 cities in the county that you don't see here. Charlotte and Del Mar contract with Maquoketa. They're a little closer to Maquoketa than us, so they're allowed to do that. And we still provide service to residents that are in Charlotte or Del Mar. So basically, the state library keeps track of all the contract cities. So if you live in one city that does not contract and does not have a library, in the state of Iowa, they cannot use any libraries. So it really is something to have, you know, the support, even if it's a small support, to help us serve all of the residents of Clinton County. And we actually are an extension of the county by serving rural residents. So it is the county's responsibility to also pay for services to service the rural residents who aren't in a municipality or who are not in a city, who are technically in the rural county areas. So we actually have funded over $9,000 per year for the 6 libraries to have e-books or physical materials. Some of those libraries choose to have Bridges, which is our state consortium basically for ebooks. So if you search your library card and you search Clinton, you'll see there's a Bridges account and then there's a Rivershare account. If you were in DeWitt, you would just see the Bridges, and then you would see DeWitt would have their own, do you have your own Advantage account? So you have 2 cards. So this is just an extra card, gives you more accessibility to ebooks and e-material, magazines, audiobooks. So we have actually been funding that through our contract city funds every year. So some of that 17,000, 9,000 of it was going towards Bridges. And then $2,400 every year was going to summer reading programs. So that's for different services, incentives, craft supplies, or performers. Performers for summer reading. So you'll see we have a magic show in Clinton this week. They all cost money. And so this association helps offset the cost for these 6 libraries. And then I'm going to have Jeanette talk a little bit about how and why we started some countywide projects.
I want to say that I have worked in other counties in the state of Iowa, and Clinton County has one of the best organization of libraries to deal with contracting cities. In the state of Iowa, I want to make clear that it is an organization that was chosen to be set up by the libraries. You can choose, like in other counties in which I have worked, where libraries almost bid out for library services from those cities. And it just makes an uncomfortable situation at times when you're not charged the same, and then the money is unevenly dispersed. I have to say, whoever set it up a long time ago did a fantastic job for Clinton County, because it sure makes our job a lot easier here in Clinton. So every year, even though the county has to pay for library service for rural residents, we still go and make a case for our funds. Originally, when I first came, we were very low, one of the lowest counties in eastern Iowa for rural services. And we worked really hard to get that up. And when we had a very good talk with the county board of supervisors, we were already looking at how are we going to better spend our money? How are we going to put our resources together so that we're, one, not reinventing the wheel, and again, how are we serving all of Clinton County equally instead of being broke up? So we sat back, we came back to our group and looked at what can we do countywide that doesn't matter if you live on the far reaches of any direction in Clinton County or right smack dab in the middle, you have equal access to. So we started with some of these projects. Our Clinton County Reads project was one of our first one, and it was low maintenance and got us really working better together as library directors. Some libraries have a lot more turnover than some of the others. And some have really low hours. And when we're talking low hours, they may only be open 10 hours a week. And that library director is the only staff person. And they are expected to run the library, do their programming, and participate in CCAPL all for 10 hours a week. We do have a couple of libraries in Clinton County that are trying to do that. So we started out with low maintenance. Some of you may have remembered some of these books. Maybe you have participated. And then we also chose to get more of ourselves out. So that same year, we thought, okay, we need to advertise everything. And maybe some of you have forgotten or you didn't know that in Clinton County, you can come and do Susan's great programming, and then you can pop over to DeWitt and do ours, because we're doing different. We are making a concerted effort not to do the same things. We're not going to repeat program after program. So you're not going to see the same performers. You're not going to see the same programs. That defeats our purpose of using our resources to the best of our ability. We want Clinton County to come over here and do whatever Clinton Public is doing. Go out to Wheatland. They have a great card playing setup on certain mornings. I don't remember the date. Go out to Wheatland. They're a great library. They're small but mighty. Go out and do their programming. Karen Bradway out in Lost Nation, if you have a tween, she runs some fantastic retro programming out there. And for considering Lost Nation, how small it is, and that, you know, they lost their school, so people are over in Wheatland and Calmus a little bit more. She runs fantastic programming and has 10 to 15 kids. So if you have a tween, a grandchild, or someone else, send them out to Lost Nation, because we are all doing something. We want you to travel and see those other libraries. Clinton doesn't hoard their patrons. DeWitt doesn't say you can't go anywhere else. We want you to. So you're going to see more and more of that. So we went in the summer fun that's published across the county, multiple counties, I believe, and made it a little more known. of what we are doing so that we can better share our patrons and make sure that all of you know what is going on within our libraries.
And then we tried.
And we tried. For a while, DeWitt had gone out and to Grand Mound, which they have a beautiful new community center, and done some outreach programming. We tried for the second year because all libraries were going to participate. It wasn't going to be just DeWitt. We were kind of that trial. And it just didn't hold steady. I think in the smaller communities, children ebb and flow on how big they are or what they're involved in with their swimming lessons, and it makes a difference. Once two families are gone, the attendance kind of goes down. So we did try, and maybe it'll come back again. But right now, we're not doing that, even though we gave it a good go. Sometimes things fail, and that's okay too. We tried. So we get a little over $100,000 a year currently from the County Board of Supervisors. And that is split up between all libraries. The formula existed before us, but it works. It continues to work. And we do have great support from our County Board of Supervisors. I usually head up that presentation to the county, and we never have, anger. You can see some of that happening with other counties in our state, especially after the last legislative session. We're fortunate that we don't have that in Clinton County. Do they ask great questions? Absolutely. Do they ask us how we use our money and is there better ways to do it? That's okay. I would expect anyone who funds us to ask those questions. So we are very, very fortunate. And we did get to jump. We worked really hard and we made that jump. Now with the economy and some legislation, we're kind of holding steady right now. So that increase was 2 years ago. Because our goal was to step up and get another jump and then kind of hold steady. But unfortunately, we're kind of held right here and we're okay with that. As long as we don't go backwards at this point.
And do you want to talk about what you use some of that fund for staffing and?
Oh, sure. So
Why
it goes. We are fortunate because we sit smack dab in the middle of the county. So by the formula, every library gets a base, and then after that, it's based on circulation. And because DeWitt does sit smack dab in the center, and everyone kind of goes right through us at some point. We are the highest circling library in the county. And I like to say it's because we're super cool, but I also know it's because we're in the smack dab in the center of the county. And it's really easy for people to get to us. It is imperative for our budget. DeWitt is not very big. We're less than 6,000 people. That money allows us to pay for staffing. When we got the jump, I actually got to get a full-time person. I was the only full-time person when I came on in 2021. Only the director was full-time. And talking to the city manager, goes, well, you got to find your own money. We don't have money yet to spread this out. And it's like, okay. So we found it. We worked through the County Board of Supervisors, which was a goal anyway, because we were underfunded. Now they absolutely met the state code, but in reality, we didn't have enough from that rural circulation. So we worked on that. I used mine to get a full-time person, and we use it for materials and programming. What simple things that all the libraries do. And we all desperately need all of those funds that we receive from the county. So we're very happy for that. So those of you that, if any of you live in rural Clinton County, that's how you get library service. If the county would choose not to pay for library service, you wouldn't receive any. It's the County Board of Supervisors that allows you to use the city's libraries. And just to, by looking at library budgets, usually 95% is all from the city. So just kind of put that, and the last 5%, maybe the county, it's going to be a little bit of the state dollars that we get through Enrich Iowa or Open Access. So overall, the bulk comes from your city and your city's general fund.
And then just to add to that, for Clinton, we have the biggest budget, we have the biggest library in the county, but with this last, all these things that are coming down from the state and the federal government as far as funding, Clinton Public Library did look like they got a 2% or $2,000 increase from last budget. However, I had to cut our book budget and some other things to make payroll happen, so that our staff could get our 3% raises. And so even though it looks like I got $2,000 more, I had to come up with 16,000 out of our budget. So when the county gives us, this amount of money, I can supplement our book budget and other things that I had to cut in our current budget coming up in FY, well, we're in it now because July 1st is FY 27. 26. So we're already starting to talk about FY 27 and reductions that are still going to continue to happen. And we're going to have to get really creative with the funding. So again, if you see a county supervisor, please thank them for us, for their support, because it does help even the bigger library. And also, if the little libraries didn't have this, they would be in big trouble. And that's concerning. And if you had a question, what is the state requirement? It is 0.0675. So every city has to contribute at least that much. So we were getting 0.07, 53. So to compare it, when we did our presentation back in 23, Jackson County at that time was doing 13 cents. So that's, or $13 per capita. Jones County also was doing a little over 13 cents for $14 per capita. And, we don't like to compare ourselves to Scott because that is a big county, but they pay 45 cents, which is about $39 per capita. And then Cedar County at 15 cents again. So we had a plan to ask the county eventually for more than 10 cents. I think our goal is 18 cents by 2026, but we know that's not going to happen just based on the special levies going away. We know that this is just not going to happen. So this last year, as Jeanette said, we did not ask for, our plan was to ask for 15 cents to match us with the other counties that are comparable to us in our area. But we did not do that this year. We knew that it's dire, and we just said, continue to fund us with what we have. And we put in our presentation why per thousand evaluation, because we feel confident in the value of Clinton County and that we should ebb and flow with that valuation. So that's why we did it as per thousand. If you had that question. All right, I'm gonna have, this is our latest initiative, countywide-ish. I will let Jeanette speak about.
So while we tested all these small projects, while we got great response to most of them, we felt that there had to be a better way, not just the simple things that we've always been doing, but we needed to go big or go home. So in DeWitt, we did not care for what we call ILS system. And what that is a system that allows you to search the catalog, check out books on our end. It's that computer program that runs all that. We wanted to get it changed. And I talked to Susie and I said, hey, this program that I really like will allow us to bring in all of Clinton County's libraries into one. You can, we all remain individual, but it allows you as patrons to search one library or all of Clinton County. Because maybe, hey, Clinton's is checked out, but DeWitt's is on the shelf. You can call over and say, hey, I want to grab that. Or you can reserve it right through the catalog. And it'll be waiting for you in DeWitt, or we transport it for you over here to Clinton. So when we were talking about this, I said, what do you think? We know that all libraries are already automated or on their systems, but we can, all of us, save money for our cities. DeWitt alone, we saved the first year over $3,000 on our automation system. And believe me, this one's way better than what we had before. When you look at what we were anticipated for Wheatland and Command, Lost Nation, they were also saving thousands. In fact, not only out of their current budget, but out of the next one. So we were thinking this would be our impact project that we can really show by working together. We can save individual cities thousands and thousands of dollars by working together and using those contracting city dollars. Why contracting city dollars? Because they are far flung all over the county, as well as our libraries. And if they can search from home, doesn't matter where you get it. Just put it on reserve, and whatever library you want it to send to, they can pick it up there. So this was our, what we consider our impact project. So right now, this is what you would look at. If you would go to Clinton County or Clinton County Union catalog, you're gonna be able to see this. And right now, you are able to search DeWitt, Lost Nation, Wheatland, and Comanche went live. I'm not sure if it's up on there yet.
This weekend.
This weekend. This company's out of Canada, so they work over the US holidays, so it doesn't affect us being open or our patrons, which means a lot to us. We went over Memorial Day when we did ours. So that's, Calmus hasn't joined us, and Clinton hasn't joined us yet. Because they have some other things they have to consider while they do theirs. But this is what we now have across most of the libraries in Clinton County. And it's paid for by those contracting cities. And it is such a good bargain that we're not even using all of the money that those contracting cities already pay us. So we're still supporting the e-materials. We're still, I think we decided not summer reading. We're gonna support e-materials as well as insignia. I mean, the patrons really are starting, once you learn how to use it, are starting to like it. Like right now, it's been interesting. We saw an increase of circulation from Wheatland. Wheatland is noticing it because DeWitt's copies are checked out. Wheatland still has theirs. So they were getting multiple copies, moving faster in Clinton County of the brand new books, which is something we wanted to see happen. Maybe we won't buy 3 copies of the new book because Wheatland has a copy. They may not have, they don't have quite the wait list that DeWitt does for the new books, but why buy 3 copies and use theirs instead? It takes way less time if you choose a book that is sitting in Clinton County than having one of us interlibrary loan it, and maybe it's coming from Des Moines or who knows where it's coming from to start with. So we first search Clinton County because our goal is to get you your stuff as quick as we can in the most efficient way possible because it makes our money go farther.
It saves the small libraries.
And it saves the
purchasing.
small libraries a lot. We're working more. There's a portion in this that we haven't really utilized yet until all of us are on, is collection development. So we can truly utilize our dollars better. And be more conscious of our collection development and how many books are sitting in Clinton County. And we're going to utilize that a little more once Comanche is on, because we'll have then everyone but Calmus, who is not an automated library, and Clinton. So
Yeah. Yeah, so as Jeanette said, Calamus is not technically online at all, so it would be a much more in-depth process, but we're here to support them when they're ready for that process. We even spoke about purchasing a computer with our funds so that they would be able to automate their library. And then Clinton, the reason Clinton is not joined yet, and I have a couple board members, I have 3 board members in here today, is because we are part of River Share Libraries, and we share with all of those libraries up and down to Musser, Public, Muscatine, the community colleges, Bettendorf, Davenport, LeClaire, Scott County, so we share books with them. We do pay over $30,000 to be a part of River Share. So we have been considering what our future is as far as if we continue to see cuts, is this a more viable option for us? We would still be able to borrow from River Share Libraries. It just wouldn't be as instantaneous as this is. We do, as we had said, and as Eric mentioned last week, the IMLS funding, we're not sure what's happening with that, but the state library has already reduced our ILL delivery. So when we request a book from another Iowa library, it could be coming, all the way from Cherokee. 1 day a week service is now what they're doing. We used to get 2 days a week service. But because we're part of River Share, Clinton gets 5-day service. So if we did not be a part of River Share anymore, we would go down to figure out a better system to have more than 1 day a week. We would have to pay extra for that. So right now we pay over $10,000 for delivery for 5 days a week to be a part of River Share. So that's just a part of that $30,000. So this is something that down the road, our board is gonna have to decide if we have to continue to have cuts. Those are just things that we're thinking about. But the good thing about the Union catalog is they can have a link to Clinton Public Library's catalog. It's not going to be as instantaneous as this, but at least there'll be like a link so you can at least see what Clinton has. It's just a different process for requesting. You'll have to go through our website. But again, these are the 6 librarians that are here to serve you in Clinton County. So please feel free to reach out to the local libraries and ask them any questions. And then, do you have any questions for us? And we just thank you for your support. Yes.
Go ahead, John.
I have lots of questions. Just on an elementary basis, when you're talking about ebooks, how do you check out an ebook and return it or keep other people from using it that are not library?
So we do have a back-end system based on your library card. So if your library card number is a certain number, you wouldn't be able to check out certain things. It just depends. But we do that on the back end, so you don't see that. You just won't be able to request it.
But if I get an ebook, is that transmitted to me over the internet?
Yeah, we you can do it they're trying to phase out the whole on your computer app, but there's an app on any smart device. So it's called Libby, and you download the Libby app onto your smart device, your phone or your tablet. And you're able to just search Clinton, Iowa, and see what library cards are accessible for you.
And how long do I get to keep it?
Well, it depends. Some lending models are 14 days. I believe Bridges is 14 days, and our account through River Share and Advantage Collection is, I think, 21 days. And I think you can choose to only take it out for 7 days. But the nice thing is, we got rid of fines back in 2023, but these also return automatically. So you don't have to worry about returning it or having it overdue. It just automatically returns itself.
But you also, if there's a wait list, you do not get to renew it on an ebook. So it automatically transfers to the next person at that day.
Yeah.
That's the one bad thing about ebooks.
But I do have an ebook or an e-audio going all at the same time I'm reading physical books as well, because you never know when you're waiting somewhere, and then I can just open my book and check it out.
Susan, something you said triggered a memory in my mind. Been 6 or 7 years ago, I proofread a novel written by somebody that lives out south of Longmore. And I'm friends with someone who lives in Chauncey Park area in town who had published a book. And I don't know how you would go about doing it, but I would think it'd be pretty cool appeal to have, read a book published by somebody who lives in Clinton County. And I could be wrong, but we find that we'd be pleasantly surprised at how many people who live in Clinton County have published novels, books, whatever.
And poetry. I know a poet who lives in DeWitt that has published some books of poetry. Yeah, the Clinton Public Library before my time had an author book fest event, and we weren't able to continue that, but we have been talking to Comanche's actually had a couple of author nights where they invite different authors to come at the same time, and you can get FaceTime with them and ask them about their process or purchase a book or get your book signed. So we have been talking about doing, something similar, or maybe coordinating that with Comanche too.
I think that'd be great.
Also in DeWitt, we have a whole collection of local authors. So if you would actually search the catalog, we're in the process of going back and making sure that tag is in the older books, but all the newer books that are coming in that have either been donated or repurchased that are by local Clinton County, you will be able to search that way in the Union Cat. Now, the other libraries haven't necessarily tagged them that way, but that is a project that we're working on so that it doesn't matter where it's located, it has that same tag for you.
Keyword is search as local.
Local author, or like if you, it's, there, if it, like the book about the explosion with the 4-Hers, that one has been very popular, that was outside of DeWitt. You know, you even put it to town, so if it was Lowmore, you should even just search Lowmore, it might actually come up. Welton would come up if you were searching
As a
for Hello
subject.
Beautiful as a
Mhm.
subject.
Yeah, or Clinton County might come up.
Should be an easy question, but I don't know the answer. How does one get a library?
Oh, go ahead.
Where do you live?
I live in Clinton County, but
If you are a rural Clinton County resident, you can go to any library and get a library card. If you live in the city of Clinton or the city of DeWitt or any of those cities that have a library, you need to go there first. They'll get you a library card and then you can go anywhere.
Now, can you talk about the difference if you have a card, like say you have a DeWitt card, but you want to go to Wheatland and check out?
You get to
with this
use that
new-
same card.
Yeah,
So you don't have to, that's the beauty. You don't have to, if it's one of the libraries on our new Union catalog, you only need one card. So Wheatland will work in Lost Nation, soon Comanche by Wednesday. DeWitt, you don't have to carry 5 library cards because we have 5 libraries or 6. One's not automated,
Yeah, what's not, but you
Uh,
still get that.
but you can use that same card.
so I live in the county. How do I?
Well, each of us have our own policy on what we require. If you want to come to DeWitt to get a library card, if your driver's license has your home address on it, that's all you need. If it doesn't match, let's say you just moved, then bring a piece of mail that shows that you are a resident.
That's the same for Clinton.
And I think it's the same for Wheatland and Lost Nation and Comanche too. It's pretty standard.
Any fee?
No, sir. Well, not
If
here,
you-
not in DeWitt.
So, and it is free if you live in Fulton or in Illinois. Clinton does charge $50 a year per household. But if you look at the cost of 2 books, it doesn't even cover the cost of 2 new fiction hardcover books.
Do you have any activities that bring in a small amount of revenue, like small print jobs, that sort of thing?
Yes, actually, Clinton, because we don't charge fines anymore, my case was we make more money in copies than we were making in library fines. So I said, here's a case why we don't have to charge fines. It was a barrier. It was a hardship for staff to have to confront people about 15 cents that they may or may not, have right on them. So yeah, we make a lot of money in copies. We do faxing. We make a lot of money faxing, Notary in Clinton. We make money doing that. And a couple other things. Did you have some?
We do all of those things that Susan has talked about. We also laminate. We charge for lamination.
We do that too.
Those little things, but for programming and checking out of materials, we do not charge. But if you lose your library card and you want a new one, we're gonna charge you $1 for the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one.
Cheryl?
We've been here since 1973, and I remember taking our children who are now in their 50s, to the library, doing everything. I guess I'm wondering, do you do any kind of a survey? Is the library as busy as it was back prior to all of our technology? I mean,
I'm gonna answer for DeWitt, and the answer is yes. We served over 69,000 people through our door last year alone. And we're watching circulation move a lot as we go to print and ebook, but remember those that are from between 20 and actually 32, they're actually going back to print. So where we thought we were putting our money into ebooks, we are having to rethink this, and we actually put more money back into print again, because those folks are reading print books. So I say yes, DeWitt has baby time, story time, talk time, 3 mornings a week, not to mention all of the afternoon programming. And then if you want to learn how to play mahjong, you can do that 3 times a week. We have euchre games going on in the winter. So we're ranging. It's not just little kids. If you only took your kids, we now range programs clear up. We have Memory Cafe for those that either are a caregiver or those that are struggling. We have a great time at Memory Cafe. We have the All Abilities Club, which then connects, and I know Larch comes from
Mhm.
Clinton,
Mhm.
comes over to that program. I know they also go to Command.
And they go to
We-
Clinton too.
And Clinton, they make the rounds. Those types of services depend on our services to make sure their residents or their patrons get that same feel of normality that everybody wants. And so we add all of those programs in, as well as what we just offer for you to come and do on your own. Take a look at what your libraries really do provide. You'll see how busy we are. You'll see why we need these funds that are in danger. Susan said Eric was here last week. You know, I was just at the American Library Association conference as a chapter counselor, and it doesn't look so hot for us. The money is still not in this budget that was, that was all the stuff that was passed last week. We're looking at complete dismantlement of IMLS. That's over $4 million for the state of Iowa. That's Libby, for those of you that like ebooks, just to let you know. Our interlibrary loan. These things are heavily subsidized by those federal dollars. As well as, do you like to be open 6 days a week until 7 o'clock or open at 9 o'clock in the morning? Those are things that are going to change. Do you like having somebody, or you just want a computer at the desk? Because if you can't pay staffing, that's what you're going to get, is just a computer to do it all on your own. Or I was at the conference that more and more people are looking at book kiosks or vendo machines. That just appalls me. Who are you going to talk to about your books? Part of what libraries provide is not just physical materials, it is a connection. It's the human connection that draws people into public libraries. And especially after dealing with COVID, we have to remember how to socialize. We have to remember how much some days don't like people, but overall, we do, and we crave that. And if the one completely free service, and I mean free by walking in the door, is gone, where do you don't go to school anymore? Maybe you join clubs, maybe you don't. Where are you going to get that connection? And remember that we're human, that humanity matters.
What's kind of like you say, the younger ones want the hard copies now. It's like my husband wanted to keep his leisure suits because everything comes back.
It's back. They're just more expensive.
It will too.
Thank you.
Well, Susie and Jeanette, thank you very much. Ironically, Susie did not bring a book for them to sign for today. But normally we give a book to the Clinton Public Library Children's Department in our speaker's honor, so we'll get that figured out at some point. I want to, within the next 10 years, I think I can speak for Karen and Joey that with the library board, within the next 10 years, we need a new library here in Clinton. And if you don't believe that, go out to DeWitt and spend an afternoon at their library. DeWitt has an amazing library that was built within the last 10 years. Yeah, and it is a place, and we need something like that here in Clinton. So I'm very thankful for the work that Jeanette's been doing. Well, with that, thank you to Kathy for greeting, Ryan for the invocation, Braden for fellowship, and Susie for the program. So, and with that, unite for good.
So I
just want to. Hey, I gotta see how it goes. 3 weeks. Yeah. But I've read this before. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. It was swimming today.
It was good, thank you. Much needed. Question for you. So,
Okay.
well, first of all,
When Grandma passed.
she's doing good. She's annoying, she's good. So, I should ask. Well, what about this paper? I think I said
Man, they've been playing well, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Wow.
It's been pretty amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. I know what you're talking about. And it's already so whatever. Yeah. I just go and right out loud.
Oh, wow, what a great idea.
They love it. They choose the book. So I yeah, that's her.
That or they want to
But I
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I was trying and they chose one. Yeah, better now. I was and in the what backstage position is but they voted. One person was outreach. So the was sat there and the last whole time I had no boss in that area. And then this grumpy and I said, so now they're proceeding for retirement. Oh, it's also Western, the little girl, it is country. As the world, it is country. It's a Paula. That's the you know, if you're sleeping in the middle of the night down there, right, you get that annoying. No, this one was a lot of my phone, but right, that was what. Let's record it. No, I remember. I didn't remember. I look at it.
You know what? Every time I talk about Cormac McCarthy, I keep wanting to plug my day on my life.
So good. You have not. Oh,
I love the movie No Country. So
I had a class of English
Yeah.
for my undergrad, just on Cormac McCarthy. We can at least be nice and
You can have it. That I love the movie No Country for Old Men.
But you have to read, so our class in college, I was read all the way up to pretty much. We have to read every single book through.
I love
And
this.
talk about progression. And he at that time would not do any, he would not let any books.
She would not.
was not
And
too
now we,
serious.
and now it's.
Very, very
it's too, yeah, yeah.
He started
Road,
running.
yeah, I don't know, the road grabbed me and I had to go grab everything.
And the road is written very, like.
It's different out
The
there.
rest of his, and I have to say the road's
She
so much.
is so different. And
And like that, when she told me,
What's your trick?
But his was like.
why she told me she was 90.
She is birthday party.
It was like how law enforcement kind of
One night
started
it's up was up at that house. They live in
That's kind of the, that's kind of
With,
the.
you
Anyway,
from,
yeah,
took
Sister
care of
Catherine.
it,
She was
as
kidding.
whatever.
Oh my,
Now we have this.
I gotta get my wine. I forgot my wine. She's gotta run back and get her wine and go out.
Whatever, the people were like, we'll just take care of it.
Really?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
That's kind of the mission statement.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the world has, the world has.
But
That's
at the end of the
The most
day,
important
I
part,
always
if people don't like
go
the movie, that's
big
the
old
most important
beer
part
of
is
ice water.
is this dialogue at the end where it's like.
I knew I couldn't have done. I knew I
Yes,
could not.
we're gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, basically, it's like if you have this guy out there, you're like, we can't combat
Maybe it's
that.
the social.
You know, like, I'm like, that's so.
There was
funny.
a story, do you remember hearing the story about the, I think it was
And
Milwaukee
the
nuns,
teacher,
that,
you know, so
they,
like half
I
of
think they had donated their bodies to
Oh,
science, but none of them had Alzheimer's.
Look, that's all they'll need.
Yeah, you get like 100 pages on how to prepare kale like oil.
So that was, I swear it was a Milwaukee,
They thought it was on like nautical.
Well, probably.
learning.
So
they-
I have,
Yeah.
you know, all the.
Yeah, you're stressed.
I can get a whole bunch of people. Well, no, this was back in 2000.
Financial
And I
literacy.
graduated in 2006,
Yeah,
2003.
I know, my grandma.
So my high
But
school.
I swear to goodness, she prayed every day, she woke up and she said, God wakes me up and it's good for this, so what is it today? And she put puzzles out.
Yeah, next year for me
And
is
at
20,
103,
so
she would put
that makes me
puzzles
feel a
out.
little better.
She
Funny,
played
it was
Scrabble
like,
with your
okay,
kids
but
to keep their mind sharp.
Exactly.
I mean, she wasn't worried about her, she was just.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
is that is it your faith? Is it your, that you wake? up
Somebody the other day, I
and
remember what,
for a
where it was,
Is
they
that
were like,
because I know.
well, you know, I started doing this.
Very
Hi, Dale.
And I
And
said, I'm
still
just gonna
super
not say.
interactive, right? And they're
You're talking about it.
of course, my time with sisters that have been really done.